During December 2024 and January 2025, I was on leave. So during January 2025, I then, through the social media reports, I came to learn about the de-establishment of the task team. And at that time, I thought it was fake news. So I was on leave. It was floating on social media from about the 3rd of January.
So this was approximately 4.5 months after you first heard of the disestablishment or the alleged disestablishment of the task team.
That is correct, Counsel.
Now, you note in paragraph 13 of your statement that the letter did not refer to the disestablishment of the task team, but rather to the removal of dockets.
Correct.
And in paragraph 14, you refer to frustrations. When you received this letter, can you explain these frustrations to the Commission?
Thank you. Firstly, there had been no formal communication to me about the de-establishment of the task team itself, other than what I saw on social media. Secondly, Lieutenant Jerome Kwanaze had not addressed the de-establishment of the task team in his letter. He had referred only to the removal of the dockets. Thirdly, an enormous amount of work had taken place to ensure the necessary coordination by providing a dedicated prosecutorial team to address all the challenges that had historically been raised in responding to the work of the task team. And fourthly, news of the disestablishment emerged at the time that all of the work that had been put in was clearly bearing fruit and the coordination was producing the desired results.
Can you read what you have written there and explain the significance of it to the Commission?
In 2026, there will be local government elections. We are aware that all elections are often preceded by violent political activity. This consists of murder, attempted murder, assault, criminal injury, malicious injury to property, etc. being committed. The modus operandi differs in that it may involve members from the same political party against each other or between the different political parties. And the reason I say this is clearly in KwaZulu-Natal, we see that every time that there are elections, this is the norm that happens in KZN. And it was a forewarning that in going towards the next elections, which are going to be in 2026, that we can expect that there'll be some spike of political activity, violence within the province. And I was worried, as I said, I was worried at that stage, and a bit frustrated that no one is coming out to tell me what is the correct picture regarding this letter that had now circulated in the media. Chairperson, can I describe it in this way? If you look at our database with regards to the cases, the finalized cases, for example, in 2025, all the matters that have been recorded there are successful prosecutions. But we don't go and say, okay, but we also look at in the previous years, how have we been doing with regards to those cases? And we do find that we rate ourselves regarding, I wouldn't say always successful, but finalized because of the complaints that had been there regarding the prosecution of these matters under court roll. But if you look at prior to the dedicated capacity, and after the dedicated capacity was provided, you will find that there was a higher finalization rate of these cases and higher success rates of the cases.
Advocate Harrison, I'm assuming that dedicating specific capacity in terms of prosecutors and also a dedicated court had something to do with the finalization of these cases, because without dedicated prosecutors and dedicated court, these cases would be enrolled as part of the normal enrollment of criminal cases and they would have to wait in the queue. Would that be a fair assessment?
Chair, can I indicate that we never ever got to the dedicated courts? there was an exercise, a series of meetings, a whole exercise that was conducted, but we never got to the issue of the dedicated courts. What the prosecutors did do is try and have those matters prioritized on the court rolls that they were operating from, so that we could see the better finalization of the cases.
Can I ask a question about paragraph 2? Are you expressing there your view, or are you simply recording what Minister Cele had said at the time, where you say KwaZulu-Natal experienced a high level of violence, particularly against persons linked to political parties or perpetrated by persons linked to political parties? Were you expressing your own view or simply recording what Minister Cele had said?
My view as well, Chairperson. At that time, it's 2019, and that also came, as I said, from Directive 1 of 2018. At that time, they were experiencing that. But the political cases had not stopped in 2019, so I couldn't leave that out. We were still experiencing a high level of political violence during 2019, and the case numbers will speak for themselves.
So if it was suggested in this commission that political killings in fact stopped in 1994, there were no political killings happening in 2019, what would your answer to that suggestion be?
I would say it's incorrect. There were political killings in the year 2019. This impact started before the dockets were even taken. So what Advocate Gaba reported was that there were some functionaries. So after this whole letter now that was in the media, and he's in consultation with General Khumalo, is that it also was that the PKTT was no longer having all the functionaries that had been there before this de-establishment letter. So some of them had now been removed.
Okay. Well, I mean, from the evidence that we've heard, the instruction to disband was not implemented, other than the instruction to remove the dockets. That's what I'm trying to probe, that you would have had that problem, even though the instruction was not given effect to.
I think, Commissioner, that will be testified on more by General Khumalo, but this is what I received from Advocate Gaba, who works closely with General Khumalo, to say this is the impact that we are now having, that we do not have all the functionaries within the... So our matters are going to be taking a little bit longer.
Integrated team had since left. Now you say the integrated or coordinated process is back in force. Does this mean those team members that had left are back, or not yet?
Chairperson, I'm not yet sure about whether all of them are back. I cannot respond to that. I didn't query that, and let me just say, I didn't query whether everyone is back. I think for me at this stage was, we need to get the work going. That is all I need, is let's get the work going. We've lost time now in these matters, and we owe certain people or victims responses to these matters. Let's get the matters going. Thank you, Chair.
If I can just put some dates to you. The evidence has been that the dockets were taken to Pretoria in 2 stages, on the 28th of March and the 22nd of April, and that they were returned on the 18th of August. So it would have been 3 to 4 months that your system was interrupted.
That is correct, Counsel.
If I may, and in the time that the dockets were removed, there had been, until they were returned, there had been no engagement from head office with your team of prosecutors in respect of the matters that they were involved with.
Chairperson, Commissioner, sorry, when you say head office, our head office or SAPS?
No, I'm saying with your prosecution team that had been part of this integrated team.
Yes.
The dockets are now at head office, SAPS
Yes.
head office, sorry.
Okay.
At SAPS head office. There was nothing.
There was nothing. Commissioner, there was no engagement by SAPS national office with the dedicated capacity within my unit, within my office.
Advocate Harrison, you previously said that no one consulted with you prior to the decision, if the apparent decision to disestablish the task team. What would your position been if anyone had consulted you prior to taking such a decision, or for your views on whether such a decision should be taken?
You know, after everything is said and done, and everything that went into providing the coordinated approach and providing this coordinated team, I would have strongly motivated against the de-establishment. If I had been approached for a comment, I would have